It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com. ODOO.com.
When it comes to playtime, never let your squad down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Push your gameplay beyond performance with 13th Gen Intel Core processors. Upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E. And maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search and head to Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/iHeart.
Wild Wednesdays, sponsored by Jim Beam, the official bourbon of the Minnesota Wild. They're here all season long. Listen every Wednesday through March for your chance to win tickets.
Hour number 3 of the Common Man program. I'm Common, he's 10 to be, and we're always, as always, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we're joined by the legendary one, Mark Rosen, formerly of Channel 4 Sports. Sports is your whole life just sports fame. And
good to see you.
Good to see you, too. You know, I think it was roughly 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. You looked at me on these very airwaves. You said, I don't think the Wolves need to be afraid of anybody.
Correct.
My guess is you're thinking the same thing about the soon-to-be big-game world champion Minnesota Vikings after their free agency fleecing of the rest of the league. They signed 4 quality players. Now, 3 of them were injured for much of last year, but who doesn't get injured in the National Football League? It happens all the time. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson was knocked out for 13, 14 games last year. You take him coming back from an injury.
100%.
So the Vikings made a big splash in free agency, signed a couple of other players as well, and some of their own. Just your thoughts overall. And the Hargrave guy isn't official yet. They're waiting for him to be released.
Right.
But everybody feels like he and his agent have reached an agreement with the Wilfs. So just your thoughts on what's happening.
Well, I think it's just echoing what, certainly the Vikings front office was feeling after watching, in particular, the last 2 games of the season in Detroit and in particular against the Rams in the playoff game, but also just as an entity and where they were and how they could address. This has been a plan because they have a quarterback with a rookie contract. They didn't have to, there was no more Kirk Cousins money, no more even Sam Darnold money. They got a quarterback who they feel is going to be the cornerstone of their franchise for many years to come. They were able to invest and substantially in the 2 biggest needs, the line, offense and defensive line. And
interior of the defensive line. Interior of the offense.
Correct. And I think, at least on paper, and that's more of a national perspective as much as anything else, mission accomplished. I mean, of course, there's always a risk involved with any player. I mean, we saw that with Christian Darrisaw last year. The guy's been healthy as a horse and tears his ACL against the Rams in Los Angeles, and that's the end of his year. And they're hopeful that he's going to be back 100% by training camp. But they're able to upgrade pretty much the positions of need. When you look at, and it's always easy to do. You look at the Super Bowl champs and you look at the teams that got there. I mean, the Lions team, look at how good their offensive line is and how they've improved their defense. What the Chiefs were able to do. Buffalo, I mean, you have to have the horses up front. I mean, I think anyone worth their salt who's been involved in the NFL will always say that. The game is won in the trenches. This has been going. That's the one constant over the decades that has remained the same. The passing game maybe has gotten more wide open, and this has happened, but you got to have the guys up front, and the Vikings haven't. And now I'd say on paper they certainly were able to accomplish a lot in one day to improve both sides of the football. And then you have to hope that how Kwesi invested heavily last year because of the draft in getting Dallas Turner, who had a very spotty rookie season. Mm-hmm. And before people start hitting the old panic button, what a bust he is. No, I mean, he was a young player, young rookie last year. And they're confident he's going to take a huge step this year to add to the Grenard, Van Ginkel, and Cashman rushing ability. And if nothing else, he's incredibly versatile. So I mean, that's what you hope to have happen. But yeah, I mean, I think that watching the national perspective, I think everyone's going, man, they're certainly going to make life a lot easier for J.J. McCarthy because of the moves they made yesterday. So at least on paper, it looks good.
Yeah. Well, most quarterbacks in the league, almost any quarterback, I don't care if he's the best in the league, if you're ranking all 32 starters top to bottom, you give guys time to throw. They all got talent. They're going to find. So that's what you need, and that was the biggest problem with the Vikings late in the year. Detroit was the protection wasn't awful, if I remember correctly.
Right,
it was just Darnold. I think he had a case of the jitters.
I guess skittish.
And he threw a couple of poor passes, 3 or 4,
right.
maybe 5, 6, that just didn't land on their target. The next game, it seemed like when he had time, he was accurate, but he didn't have a lot of time because he was under duress the entire game. I think it was 9 sacks the Rams registered, and they did that without blitzing.
Right.
They didn't blitz once in the game,
Correct.
I don't think. And so, yeah, but if you have an offensive line, most quarterbacks can pick apart a secondary pretty easily.
And conversely, you saw the best of the best, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he didn't have time to throw the ball. They rushed him. The Eagles got to him. And
they didn't blitz.
No, they buried him in the first half, and that they never recovered. So, in a very, very competitive, I mean, the Bears have upgraded their line to help Caleb Williams.
They did the same thing. They had 3 linemen, right?
Yeah,
I think
and the Lions obviously are, they already have pretty much their offensive linemen in place. Green Bay, I think, added a player or two.
They added an offensive lineman.
Yeah, so that's kind of where the dollars are going right now. So if Fries does his thing and Ryan Kelly,
Fries and Kelly. Kelly will play center. He was very good. Fries, I think, did they say he was a teammate of his for a while, I believe?
Yeah, I heard.
So he's apparently very good. Now, both guys, I think Ryan wasn't hurt last year. Fries was, and the 2 defensive players also missed quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
But they're all, a couple, I don't know if all 4 have been Pro Bowlers, but a couple of the defensive guys, I think, were both Pro Bowl. They're good. They're good. They're not like, this guy showed some promise or what the Twins used to do, where it's like, we signed this pitcher. Of course, his last best season was 7 years ago.
Right.
These guys were all good recently.
And
so, I mean, to me, it's encouraging.
It is.
I expected them to do it. I mean, because they had the money, and the coach said it at the season-ending news conference. He admitted. He said, we must get stouter in the middle of the line, and they did exactly that.
Well, what that means for any future for Bradbury and Ingram in particular doesn't bode well.
No, they're probably both gone.
They likely both are gone. I mean, unless they keep. I don't know who's more. Bradbury, I don't think he's played anything other than center since college, probably. So
Warren wanted to move him to tight end, if you remember.
I try to forget what Warren talks about.
I always love that.
Well, and the other thing is I don't know how much an Ingram or Bradbury make. So that could Bradbury be kept as a backup? I don't know. I don't know if they'll do that or not, or if this is where they don't have a lot of draft picks, so it's not like we can just get a lot of depth in the draft. Right. They officially got that 97th, I think was the number, the 97th
third
pick.
Rounder,
yeah, I still think it's more of a first, fourth, and a last third.
Right. No, I agree.
But anyway, wherever it's the 97th pick. So they've got a first, the 97th, and a couple of, I think, their 5th-round picks. So, and did they have another? Did they have 5? They have 4 or 5.
I thought they had a 4th.
Yeah.
Do they have a 4th?
They have a 4th now that they have the compensatory pick.
Yeah. But is that,
we now know where that is now.
But what I mean is, how many picks is that altogether now?
4.
4, yeah.
So 4 picks. You know, so it's not like you can get a ton of depth with that, but you do, and they still could make trades. They could say, we like the makeup of our team right now as far as we think we have a chance now. If everything falls into place and McCarthy plays like we think he's capable of, how we extrapolate it out to, we've got a really good team right now, and so we could take that 1st-round pick and trade it to somebody that wants to move up because they see a guy they got to have, and you could get something else for it. And then then all of a sudden you go from having 4 picks to maybe 5 or 6 picks. And I wouldn't be opposed to that unless that guy, you're at 24 and you're going, well, this guy, if this guy's sitting around, we can't trade our pick. We got to take him.
That's what I like. I always wonder, and we'll never know, unless you're in that draft room that night, to say, there's 1 or 2 guys that we're absolutely not going to pass up if they're still sitting at the board at 24. It might be a running back and a very deep running back draft. Might be someone else. But the idea would be, in all likelihood, to try to accumulate another draft pick in an otherwise kind of pretty deep draft. And this is not to suggest the Vikings are done. I mean, signing players. We haven't even got through one full day.
That's correct.
And, certainly the Cooper Kupp thing is sitting out there. I think there's
Aaron Rodgers is sitting out there.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is doing his Aaron Rodgers thing, isn't he? I mean, I don't know what he's waiting. I don't know why. I mean, how can you not just go to Pittsburgh? I don't understand.
Do you think there's any chance the Vikings would be interested? I just don't believe so.
No.
I'd be surprised. Not only would I be surprised, I'd be shocked.
And it's not to suggest that Aaron Rodgers still is incapable of.
Right.
Ted and I talked about this. It's capable of with especially with a roster like this. I know Brett Favre went on TV and said, man, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm knocking on the Vikings door because, he knows of all people.
Correct.
What did he say when he got here?
All the pieces are in place.
Pieces are in place. Well, I had Aaron Rodgers, but it's a little different situation. Brett Favre came in here, and he knew damn well he was going to be the starting quarterback right away. Aaron Rodgers.
Well, if he came here, he would be the starter, wouldn't he?
No.
Well, he wouldn't come here if he wasn't guaranteed.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's a much different situation than what Favre was facing in 2009.
But I think if the Vikings were to sign him, they would start him. I don't think they would say, "Hey, we'll let you be a backup."
That's why I don't.
That's why I don't think.
No. They're not going to say that.
If they did, would you be all in though?
No.
No?
Not as a starter. No, I don't want to see him start over J.J. McCarthy. I don't want to see him wait any longer. Like I said to the caller yesterday, I mean, wait for what?
Well, let me ask you this.
It's got to play.
Let me ask you this. If the Vikings signed Rodgers and announced that he was going to be the starter, would you move to Chicago now and start rooting for the Bears? And by the way, one text messenger wanted to know, what does Karn think of the free agent moves? Have you guys discussed them? Okay, very good.
Well, there's just a lot of contracts on her desk today, put it that way.
I can
I'm sure of that.
We'll take a break and come back. More to get to with the legendary Mark Rosen next here on the Common Man program on The Fan.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you. Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Ooh. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
It's tax season, and by now, I know we're all a bit tired of numbers. But here's an important one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Here's another, 20%. That's the overall increase in identity theft related to tax fraud in 2024 alone. But it's not all grim news. Here's a good number, 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's US-based restoration specialists will fix it, backed by another good number, the $1 Million Protection Plan. In fact, restoration is guaranteed or your money back. Don't face identity theft and financial losses alone. There's strength in numbers with LifeLock Identity Theft Protection for tax season and beyond. Join now and save up to 40% your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock and use promo code IHEART or go to lifelock.com/iHeart for 40% off. Terms apply.
Tired of restless nights? At Lisa, they know good sleep is essential for mental, physical, and emotional health. From memory foam mattresses to hybrids that keep you cool all night long, Lisa's mattresses offer exceptional comfort and support with free delivery and 100 nights to try out your mattress in the comfort of your home. Go to lisa.com today and get 20% off all mattresses. That's LEESA.com and use code IHEART for an extra $50 off your purchase. Remember, no matter who you are, there's a Lisa just for you.
Get your bracket on the 2025 KFAN Bracket Challenge, powered by the Twin Cities Auto Show, presented by Quick Trip, is here. Match up with other Rubes for your chance to win $2,500 in road trip cash, plus a perfect bracket could win you $1 million. Enter today at KFAN.com. Keyword bracket.
To break news, whether it's A section, B section, C section, which I would have told. Who did we say we were supposed to get a C section so they could be in the season?
Boomer Esiason said it.
Yeah,
it was about a Major League Baseball player.
Probably should have scheduled a C-section. Kevin Seifert breaks news about as good as anybody. But you said he was on on Twitter?
He was on ESPN television just a little bit ago, and then he posted it on. He was on SportsCenter.
Very good. What do we got?
Obviously, he was asked about the quarterback situation, and here's what he said.
Vikings reporter Kevin Seifert. And Kevin, the only quarterbacks currently on the Vikings roster, J.J. McCarthy and Brett Rippon. What are you hearing on the latest in terms of adding a quarterback to that room?
Yeah, so they need to sign some veteran of some shape or form to go with J.J. McCarthy. They tried to do that with Daniel Jones. He ended up going to the Colts yesterday. So there's still a possible curveball here. My understanding is that the Vikings have at least been entertaining the possibility internally of what it would look like to add Aaron Rodgers into this quarterback room. And the idea would be you have a 14-win team, you have the reigning coach of the year in Kevin O'Connell, you have an all-pro receiver in Justin Jefferson, offensive and defensive lines that have been upgraded here in free agency, and also a pretty great defense with Brian Flores. So you drop Aaron Rodgers into that mix, and potentially you have a Super Bowl favorite for 2025. And that would obviously push J.J. McCarthy's timetable back a year to 2026. I don't have any information to suggest that's the likely scenario right now, but I do know that as of yesterday evening, they were having that discussion internally, whether Aaron Rodgers is the right option for 2025 and whether it's right for their building and for their culture and their organization. So the best thing I can say there is stay tuned. It's not quite over yet.
Oh my gosh! Now, that's what I intended to be, or we had discussed this earlier in the program, and what I'd said to him. That buzzword of culture, it's gotten bigger. It's probably the number one word spoken in almost every single locker room and everything of sport in front of us. It's our culture. All cultures, there's 32 different cultures in the National Football League, apparently. And if you have a coach that has been leading this team and he has the players in place and Jefferson's kind of been the team leader and such, and you bring a guy like Rodgers into the mix, who we all know is, his ego is it's the only thing bigger than his ego is my prostate, probably. He's very, about I me mine. I don't know if it would disrupt the culture. I think it would certainly be I think it has all the potential of being a volatile mix.
Let's take a step back, and I think, and it's Kevin Seifert, without question, I'm sure has really good sources inside that Viking locker room and in the halls of TCO to talk about curious or whatever it might be, about kicking the tires, whatever term you want to use. How do we compare this situation with what happened with Brett Favre in 2009? He was playing for the Jets, just as Aaron Rodgers was. I was talking to Brett about that, Brett Blakemore, yesterday, and he had kind of an off. He was hurt. He had hurt his finger or something, and then I wouldn't say Brett Favre had an outstanding season in 2008. But the Vikings, as we all know what happened, went out and got him. And there was no question when Brett Favre got off that plane and Brad Childers picked him up at the airport, the moment he showed up at Winter Park, he was going to be the starting quarterback. Now, granted, he got off to a slow start here. I think the Cleveland game, until he threw that pass to the San Francisco game, I think they were still like, what do the Vikings just get if all the pieces are in place here with Brett Favre? And that turned a lot of things around for him until he had his schism with Childress. Anyway, the point of the matter is, where is Rodgers right now at
Winter Park
in his career compared to Brett Favre at that about the same age and capabilities?
He's 2 years removed from an MVP mark. That's all. One of those years was wasted because he was injured. And he played pretty well late in the season last year.
Getting to your point, naturally, if they brought Aaron Rodgers in, the statement to J.J. McCarthy is, you're sitting another year.
You don't want to see that.
I'd rather not. I'm not just saying this because...
they've done that twice in Green Bay, where they've had a first-round pick sitting for 3 years.
Right, I understand that. But I think because of the success that we saw last year, and we talked about it yesterday, with most of the rookie quarterbacks that were drafted high, like JJ was last year, and you start with Jaden Daniels and go down the list. I think the clock is ticking literally on his rookie contract, but also getting him in there to see what you got with the kid.
But what if you don't have anything? You miss a golden opportunity to win a big game. Here's the whole key.
That's assuming that Rodgers is capable of doing that.
Do you know?
You just talked about his lack of productivity and success in the postseason.
I'll take it for the excitement level. The drama would be.
I'm not going to lie about it. As someone who's still in the media and understanding what goes on, 100%. There's nothing. This place would be like Favre 2.0. Absolutely, it would be. If Aaron Rodgers decided to show up at TCO wearing number 12,
if Seifert's accurate, if Seifert,
I don't want to see it. But
if Seifert is correct in that it's been talked about inside Winter Park, I think it's going to happen if Rodgers will come here. And Favre saying, I would. Rodgers doesn't want to go somewhere where he's going to be a backup. And he doesn't want to go to, give me a terrible team out there right now.
The Giants.
He didn't want to go to the Giants. He doesn't want to play there.
No, why would you go back to New York?
He wants
play
to
the
go,
same stadium?
Well, he'd go there if the Giants were a Super Bowl contender.
Well, right. But that's what I'm saying. Why would you put yourself through
that? With the Vikings, if you look at what they did, I got to think that Rodgers would look at it and go, boy, that offensive line could be awful good now. And I got Hawkinson, I got Addison, I got Jefferson, Naylor.
Maybe Cooper Kupp.
I like their running backs, fine. The defense, he knows that defense is under B-flow, especially with the additions they've made now in the middle of the night. Vikings, again, it's all on paper, and
how can they afford all this, by the way?
Well,
I know they had a lot of cap space, but
they didn't spend that much cap space yesterday.
No, I don't get how that works.
They spread it out over the life of the contract. They back end, they front end. That's why those guys get paid what they do, because they know how the machinations to spread that money out and make it. You kick the can down the road, sort of a thing. But I will tell you this: I think what you have to look at is, to me,
I don't know if everybody ignores this part, but I think a lot of people don't think about ownership and how much influence they have on the decision making process. If you're the Wilfs, you've owned this team since when? Is it 20 years?
20 years.
20 years. You built a stadium.
Right.
You've got, not with a lot of help, but I'm just saying, you invested in a stadium, invested on TOC at the new Winter Park, TCO Performance Center. You've gotten close. I mean, and they weren't that far out of that 2017 touchdown 2-point conversion onside kick, touchdown 2-point conversion onside kick. But they're anxious to win. That's why remember when we talked about the competitive rebuild that Kwesi and I've always been under the opinion, and I don't know this for a fact, but I think my guess is with the Wilfs, they basically said, we're not interested in tearing it down to the brass tacks. Can you still rebuild our team and be competitive? They said, of course we can, and they did. I think the Wilfs want to win, and they want to win now. And if they could get Rodgers in here, I think they would. If Rodgers is interested, I think the Wilfs, will say they want to. I know you got to go
to a break, but the one thing that's feeding that monster right now is the fact that, and it's not like Aaron Rodgers is going to make a decision because Aaron Rodgers does what Aaron Rodgers wants, but it seems on paper it's like the no-brainer for him would be, I'm going to go to Mike Tomlin and play on a Pittsburgh Steelers team that's always competitive. They have not had a lot of playoff success, but I'd certainly rather go there. But now, is there something happening, right? Are there actually conversations going on?
Sounds like there is. It sounds like A-Rod is coming to Minnesota.
We got A-Rod, now we're going to get A-Rod.
Think about if Rodgers playing.
God, it would never.
I'm starting to get excited about the idea. I mean, I think he's what's it called? A megalomaniac? Is that what he is?
Egomaniac.
Egomaniac.
Narcissist.
That's right. He's all of that. He might be Dunzo.
You've been ripping on him for his postseason.
Well, yeah, but still, I'm all about the storyline, the
Rodgers,
excitement.
JJ, KOC. Let's go.
Oh, my God.
Let's bring A-Rod.
I got a headache.
We'll break, come back. Got another half hour to go here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Ooh. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Tired of restless nights? At Lisa, they know good sleep is essential for mental, physical, and emotional health. From memory foam mattresses to hybrids that keep you cool all night long, Lisa's mattresses offer exceptional comfort and support with free delivery and 100 nights to try out your mattress in the comfort of your home. Go to Leesa.com today and get 20% off all mattresses. That's LEESA.com and use code IHEART for an extra $50 off your purchase. Remember, no matter who you are, there's a Leesa just for you.
When it comes to playtime, never let your squad down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Push your gameplay beyond performance with 13th Gen Intel Core processors. Upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E. And maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search and head to Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/iHeart.
Fan.
stand-up comic named Tim Flanagan.
I've heard of him, yes.
Your chance to see him tonight at the Mud Room. Yeah, at the Mud Room. Tickets are only $10.
Where's the Mud Room?
It's over in Mendota.
Okay.
Abbott's neck of the woods.
Oh, all right.
I've worked the Mud Room before.
Is he the
meat sauce.
main attraction? He's the headliner?
He's the headliner.
Does he have anyone else with him?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
You don't need any more than that.
No, you really don't. He could fill an hour.
Tim Flanagan for $10 tonight at the Mud Room.
What if my only availability was on March 21st and I wanted to listen to his comedy?
Well, then now you're talking, because that's going to be at the... matter of fact, why don't we give away a pair of tickets?
Yeah.
Got a pair of tickets for Flop, Sweat, and Tears at Bogart's. You can catch Common, Meat Sauce, and Tim Flanagan.
Oh, boy.
Only one night. We do two if we could sell enough tickets, but we're having trouble even selling enough to open the doors on day one, or on the show on March 21st. That's a week from Friday. Tickets are available at BogartsEntertainmentCenter.com. BogartsEntertainmentCenter.com. But right now, .com. But for the 11th caller, you'll win a pair of tickets to see the show. So give us a call at 1-800-320-5326. If I go by most of the text messages that I've received today, and this is very unscientific, it's a couple 13, 14 texts. If let's say there is 14, 13 say they want nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers.
I tend to agree with that analysis of the text messages and emails, et cetera, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, that I've been getting. That, no, the time has passed. Let's move on. Let's not talk about it. I don't care if you're exploring the idea. Let's put it to bed and sign our backup quarterback and move on. But until this thing is put to bed, like I said during the break, I think if I'm the New York Giants, and they have enough issues as it is after letting Saquon Barkley walk last year, they don't even have a quarterback right now. I don't know. Is Danny DeVito still quarterbacking with them?
As far as I know.
Danny DeVito.
He's got something left.
Tommy DeVito. But, aren't they going, hey, Raj, look, you got to let us know. We got to, this is musical chairs. And, the Vikings are going to have to sign a backup.
He's got to do what's right for Aaron, Mark.
I know, but they're not going to.
He's going to take his time and think this through. This is a big career change for him. It's a big career decision for Aaron.
Only if the Vikings were involved is it a big career decision. You can't look at Pittsburgh and New York and go, geez, I don't know what I'm going to do here.
If Seifert is correct, and we played the soundbite. He was on ESPN TV earlier. He's based in the Twin Cities. He covers the Vikings for ESPN.
Right.
He was with the Star Tribune. He's on with Barrero weekly during the season, and then during the offseason. He was on yesterday. He said it's been discussed inside those walls. And if that discussion has been, the only thing, like I said earlier before we went to break, is if you really believe in all this culture stuff, then does that throw the culture stuff for a loop? Because it's sort of been KOC leads, it's been JJ's club, there's, Sam Darnold, everybody rallied around him. Everybody says they love McCarthy. You brought in some new pieces. Right. Everybody feels like, they've been talking about eventually it's going to be Sam's club. And then if all of a sudden you slam on the brakes and do a complete U-turn, and all of a sudden it's no, we're going to wait for McCarthy. He's going to have to wait another year. We have a chance to bring in a future Hall of Famer. Yeah. We're going to do it.
Well, I could see it happening. There's that mentality. If the football people, if the KOCs and Wes Phillips and all the people, all the scouts the pro scouts who have looked at A-Rod's, not just his completion percentage, but just looked at his body of work and his body in particular. How healthy is he? What is he still capable of doing? He can throw a football, but is he capable of using his legs J.J. McCarthy will
with
absolutely.
The kind of protection he's going to get with that new line, he's going to be able to just stand back there and pick defenses apart.
He might need a rocking chair, but he probably will have one. I don't know. I still would be shocked. I mean, more shocked than I was even with Favre. If that's possible. I don't know.
I think your wife is right now working on a contract right now.
She's working all right. She's texted me back.
She's working on a contract right now for Aaron Rodgers. I guarantee it.
I think she's got to get Cooper Kupp done first.
It's my gadfly sense tingling. It's all pointing.
Above average at that.
I mean, because look at. So let's say this happens. Let's say they go.
You're just loving this.
Well, let's say they say let's go with Rodgers. And what if Rodgers still has a lot left with everything around him? Mm-hmm. Defense looks pretty good. My guess is they post a really good record and could make a run.
Right.
Let's say they don't. Let's say Rodgers is washed up.
Well,
we'll probably know early in the season. Then you turn it over to McCarthy, and even if you make a run with Rodgers and you fall short, you miss out on the playoffs in the last game of the regular season. You make the playoffs, you get beat in the wild card round or somewhere along the line. Well, it's like the quarterback for Green Bay, what's his name, Jordan Love. He waited a few years on the bench. We talked about Favre waiting on the bench. Rodgers waited on the bench. Guys have waited on the bench before to play.
It's just unusual these days with rookies that are playing on the rookie contract to wait much longer. And last year was evidence when you had a class like they had last year, where even Bo Nix ended up taking his team to the playoffs.
Correct. Well, and I do think that's more in vogue now.
Yeah,
that's what teams would rather do is get a quarterback and have it be like Jaden Daniels rather than Caleb Williams. But it doesn't have to be done just because that's what most teams are trying to do nowadays. Doesn't mean you have to do that. If the circumstance, and you have to believe in Rodgers, you'd have to believe that there was still something there that he could conjure up. So the magic he used to have years ago.
Rodgers is better than J.J. McCarthy right now. I mean, I don't, we have not seen J.J. It's quite obvious. We've seen him play at a regular season game yet. But by all accounts, what everyone is saying and the way he's prepared himself for this opportunity, of course he's going to have bumps in the road. But I think they're looking at him going, I don't want to waste another year of his rookie contract having him sit on the bench.
That's okay.
Well, if you go to the big game, it's okay, but if you don't...
but, it was a 1 year, and a lot of quarterbacks don't start. We just talked about Jordan Love. I think Green Bay is delighted with their decision, the way they went about it. Let's
you don't consider it wasting a year if you're a big game contender.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Of course, if that's the
Well, how about this? So you sign Rodgers, and you got McCarthy, and then Rippon, right?
Yeah.
Let's say, who else is out there as far as free agent quarterback?
Well, Minshew, and you got Flacco.
Minshew, you got those four. You let each of them play. You assign 5 quarterbacks, and you let each of them play in every game. So if there is an injury,
let's get Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I think it's what Warren was suggesting. Sign them all.
Yeah,
then play them all. I'm starting to warm up to the idea only because I think the risk. I guess. I just, even if he came in there and he was diva guy and there, I think most players on the team, maybe they would just do the company line and say, "Oh, delighted to have him here."
Right.
I think most of them would think it was a good idea. Do you think that most of those guys, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, say, "Cool, 4-time MVP, former Super Bowl champ. I think he's still got enough cunning and guile left if he's healthy. I think he can take us to a big game."
I don't think it would necessarily be any different than it was when Brett Favre walked into Winter Park, to answer your question. So, I mean, Favre made himself one of the guys in a hurry. Whether Aaron would be capable of doing it, no matter where he goes, remains to be seen. But Favre, by all accounts, everyone I talked to on that season, where they had a lot of veterans, obviously from Adrian Peterson to Steve Hutchinson to Ben Lieber, talk to Ben about that. I mean, Favre made himself one of the guys, other than after the game when he got special, he got picked up. He didn't have to walk outside at Metrodome. He had a limo pick him up, just like I do. He had a limo pick him up right below, let's think about that. Had a limo pick him up in the lot, below the employees' lot. So he didn't have to talk to the fans out there. But yeah, the players loved him.
Wish I had audio when you said before the injury last season you wanted JJ to start, period. Well, that was then. This is now. I've changed my mind. Plus, let's see.
Aaron Rodgers wasn't available last year.
Sam Darnold, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, okay. what people don't get. People actually get upset about this stuff.
Oh, of course they do.
Enough of Rodgers crap. You're as bad as Dan B. There's other sports.
Yeah, I can talk about the Timberwolves playing tonight. Big game at Denver.
We could. Do you think the Wolves have any reason to be afraid of?
No, Aaron Gordon's not playing for Denver tonight. Nuggets. I watched the other night. They didn't miss a shot when I was watching when they beat. They throttled Oklahoma City. But the Wolves have had their number, played awfully well against them, and they're on a roll right now. So this is a big game for them because I think the Wolves are. If they win this game tonight, they'll end up with like a 12-game winning streak. I think they're playing awfully well. Obviously, Julius Randle's playing at a really high level.
Well, they're not playing anybody.
Who?
The Wolves are playing terrible teams.
Well, They haven't been playing. No,
tonight
they got it. Yeah, they got a big test tonight. You play who you have to play. It doesn't. I mean, they knew what the schedule was.
Do you think the Wolves are going to the Western Conference Finals?
They have a shot. I think that everyone kind of agrees that Oklahoma City, as formidable a record as they have, and they're going to have the MVP on their team. They're not scaring people, is what I'm saying. Come postseason, they're going to be a tough out, but I think the Wolves feel like many other teams in the West that they can compete with them. The Lakers, LeBron will come back for the playoffs. That's just who LeBron is.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, he'll play.
Well, you don't know if he's hurt. He's hurt. What if it's worse? Well, the initial report was he could be out for a month or more.
And then they said week to 2.
Well, that's what they want to say because that's what LeBron wants you to think, and maybe it could be a week. It could be a week, 10 days. But we don't know. That's speculation. They're predicting. I don't know. He could be out for the season, for crying out loud. The team to watch out for is Golden State. Jimmy Buckets and Steph Curry.
They're 12-1 since the trade.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like
I'd love to see Golden State play Oklahoma City in the first round or second round. That'd be a good one. Or the Lakers. That would be a high end.
What about Golden State against the
Wolves? Yeah, I'd love to see that.
You'd like to avoid Golden State, I can tell. There's one team they need to be afraid of, and that's Jimmy Buckets.
I don't know. I don't think it's Jimmy Buckets. Be afraid.
Jimmy Buckets and Steph Curry and Draymond Green. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
No. I think Memphis is still a tough out. Who am I missing? Houston.
Denver.
Yeah, Denver's a team that I still think with the Joker.
Buckets.
Yeah.
Steph.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, there we talked about
I still have a little Luka PTSD from last year.
Yeah, I know. No kidding. Dallas isn't even going to make the postseason the way it looks. They might get an elimination game, but they might be one and done. They don't have any bodies left. Look at you.
I'm starting to get excited about Jimmy Buckets. I'd love to see the Wolves go all the way, but I don't know. And again, getting healthy at the right time. They missed your guy DiVincenzo and what's his face that we just mentioned, Julius Randle. They've been out for quite some time. They're back now, healthy.
Yeah,
seems like the team is about as healthy as they've been.
Well,
right?
And it's nice to hear Finch say, "I'm going to play 10 guys." I mean, we never used to hear him say, even a year ago. That's why I said that their roster's better than it was a year ago. Doesn't mean they're going to have the same sort of success, but for Chris Finch to say, he's looking at playing 10 guys, that's words I never thought I'd hear from Chris Finch. I mean, he's got enough depth on this team that he's not afraid to use the rookies and use some of the other guys. And you're seeing the emergence of Jaden McDaniels and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I mean, these guys are having some really solid seasons, and Rudy Gobert is back now. So they have some options they have not had before.
Doc Ellis, former Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher, claimed that he one time, when he threw a no-hitter, he was on LSD.
Correct.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers has ever played under the influence of ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca, probably.
Do you think he has?
I don't know what that does.
I want to talk more Aaron Rodgers.
I can tell. Well, we took a quick break to talk about the Wolves, but nothing that I've heard has developed in the last 10 minutes. I was hopeful before we got off the air.
Any more on Aaron?
We have something.
Any more Aaron news? Aaron
no,
Rodgers?
Believe me, I've been refreshing Twitter as much as humanly possible.
I'm going to get a number 12 Vikings jersey. He'd get 12, wouldn't he? No, he changed to 8, right? Did he change to 8? What jersey number would he wear, do you think, here? Because didn't he go to 8 in New York?
I think he did.
I think so, yeah.
So he went from 12 in Green Bay to 8. I wonder what he'd go.
I don't know.
If he just...
About number 4.
Because they'd do it in increments of 4. Where Favre's number? How good would that be?
Oh, my God.
And then after a year of getting us to the NFC Championship game, we get to play unfinished business next year by Murph.
And how about he starts talking that Mississippi drawl a little bit? Aaron starts talking like that.
Do we need to send an airplane to California, get a couple guys on there, get JJ on there, Darisaw, Cashman?
I don't think the other JJ would be real happy about that. But
which one, McCarthy?
Yeah.
Well, you know what, kid? Win 4 MVPs and get back to me.
Well,
your time will come. You have plenty of time. And if you don't like it, leave.
Can't.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Well, he could. He could just quit. He could retire.
Yeah,
he's making like $5, $6, $7 million a year. He'll be okay.
He'll be just fine. Learning. getting to learn behind the master? We always talk about tutelage.
I don't know if he's one of those guys that really wants to spend a lot of time mentoring people.
Maybe he's changed.
Maybe he has. Yeah.
Maybe it's a new Aaron Rodgers.
You're trying to convince yourself of something that you've been fighting for years. Oh, this is delicious.
It's a nice twist.
Yeah, it's good. It makes for good fodder. That's about it.
I like it.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm not convinced McCarthy's going to be that great. And what if McCarthy's a 210-pound, 6'3", okay quarterback? Then we go, we invested all this money and got all psyched up for Christian Ponder 2.0. What if he is Christian Ponder 2.0? I don't want to hear about, oh, no, we know he's going to be a franchise quarterback because the coach told us so. Well, we've been told a lot of things. And I do think McCarthy will end up having a nice career. I do. But I don't know how nice of a nice career. Can he elevate himself into a top 10 quarterback? I don't know. Maybe. Right. Takes a lot to get there. We don't know.
A lot of quarterbacks in the league really do feel that he's kind of the heir apparent, but we'll see. Based on what? He hasn't played a game in the NFL yet, so we don't know. You know, there's been a lot of great quarterbacks coming out of college that just haven't quite made it, but you know, the Vikings finally got their hands on one that has the potential of being one, which is a lot more than you can say for where they've been for the last, I don't know how many years. Long time. So, well, good luck.
What if they sign Aaron Rodgers and trade J.J. McCarthy for a first-round pick plus?
Okay.
That's what I want him to do all along.
My head hurts.
You just won't think outside the box.
Sometimes
you have to think outside the box.
I've been going along with your giddiness here a little bit. So I've been listening to you and absorbing all of it. And what Kevin Seifert did going on ESPN today just adds more fuel to the fire.
Well, at least it's been discussed.
Yeah, I mean, that's
what he claims. It's been discussed inside those walls.
Well, yeah, and that could mean anything. There's a lot of things that get discussed.
Could be an equipment manager was talking to one of the janitors about it. Yeah. It was being discussed inside. That would still be discussed inside the walls of Winter Park.
A lot of stuff gets discussed in Chad Abbott's office that doesn't materialize.
Oh, tell me. Trust me. What? You got more?
No, I was just going to say, we are 8 minutes away from free agency officially beginning, right? Everything else has been legal tampering. So we're going to hear a lot of news here after the program's over.
Maybe he's waiting, Rodgers, for 301.
Wait. No, I just wanted to do it.
He just wanted to do that. Everybody just pulled over the side of the road.
And we can build this thing together.
Well, you come in if Rodgers decides to sign with the Vikings. Are you on call or did you come in tonight?
If he gets signed, if he got signed Saturday at 9 o'clock at night, I'd come in and do a 2-hour special.
Well,
I would even do it at the cage.
What if it was Saturday at 8:30 and you're on a golf course at the time?
No, I'll wait. They'll have to wait.
I'll hear about it later.
I'm going to play Friday, too.
Friday's a nice day, right? Friday's the 70, and then it's like snow.
We got a big day on Friday,
we got a big program password,
Our program password is going to be Marnie Gellner and Lil B against Max and I, and we're doing it.
Oh, Max is back.
We're doing it in the Performance Studio. We're going to have, right now, the count is up to 70 people and counting.
Wow.
Clients of ours.
Nice.
And hopeful clients. We're inviting people that we've been willing to join the fan with advertising, so they're all going to be there. We're going to do it live.
And maybe Aaron Rodgers will be there.
And maybe Aaron Rodgers
can't confirm that, but...
Well, I'll be at TCO welcoming
we
him.
know Aaron's great at Jeopardy. I don't know how he would be.
I saw host Jeopardy.
But we'd extend an invitation to him.
Yeah, he could.
The password is ego.
Mirror.
You two guys.
I always love that one.
So what? He's got an ego.
We all do.
Play what Barrero said about Aaron Rodgers. Can you find that soundbite anywhere?
I got to start the music here soon.
No, that doesn't matter. It's the one where he says, so what? He's got an ego. Guy's good at his job. He's better because he's more interesting because he's got an ego. Aaron Rodgers is more interesting because he's got an ego.
Well, there's a difference between having an ego and being arrogant. And that's the thing I've always thought of that.
Well, there's a little bit of that.
Nothing wrong with having a healthy ego. Become arrogant for
the common man. Guy's earned his arrogance. He's supposed to be Mr. Selfless and do that phony humility thing. The guy's great at his job. Yeah, he's got an ego. To me, he's more interesting because he has an ego.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's more
he's a lot more interesting. No doubt about that.
It's today Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow then at 2, right?
Oh, I keep thinking I got one more day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers montage at noon tomorrow.
Yes.
You better get that ready.
We'll see you tomorrow at 2. Tenby, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We enjoyed our visit. We will talk tomorrow at 12 noon. Big Ticket, JG, they're next here on The Fan.
Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon. And good night, Minnesota.
And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
I'm a fraud.
Yes.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
It's tax season, and by now, I know we're all a bit tired of numbers. But here's an important one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Here's another, 20%. That's the overall increase in identity theft related to tax fraud in 2024 alone. But it's not all grim news. Here's a good number, 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's US-based restoration specialists will fix it, backed by another good number, the $1 Million Protection Plan. In fact, restoration is guaranteed or your money back. Don't face identity theft and financial losses alone. There's strength in numbers with LifeLock Identity Theft Protection for tax season and beyond. Join now and save up to 40% your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock and use promo code IHEART or go to lifelock.com/iHeart for 40% off. Terms apply.
Your stomach is a mess and you feel lousy. Something is just off, but you don't know what. Yeah, we get it. You've tried every fad diet and supplement under the sun, and none of it worked. Here's the truth. Your gut's a mess, and your body is letting you know. You're just too busy, and you ignore the signs, making it worse. Viome gets straight to the point, analyzing your gut microbiome to give you a personalized health plan that actually works. Your gut is how your body processes everything that you consume. Stop ignoring the signs. It's time to do something real. Get Viome and fix your gut now. Dial **gut to get $110 off any test. That's *488 to receive a link to the offer.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com. ODOO.com.
Tired of restless nights? At Lisa, they know good sleep is essential for mental, physical, and emotional health. From memory foam mattresses to hybrids that keep you cool all night long, Lisa's mattresses offer exceptional comfort and support with free delivery and 100 nights to try out your mattress in the comfort of your home. Go to lisa.com today and get 20% off all mattresses. That's LEESA.com and use code IHEART for an extra $50 off your purchase. Remember, no matter who you are, there's a Lisa just for you.